Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm back with the second video to my BRZ, 5 things I do like about it. So this is just going to go down the list, and then we'll go. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, just let me know. So starting with 5 things I do like. First thing I like about it a lot, which pretty much was the main reason why I bought the car as opposed to any other things. I mean, were other cars that I did like and I was looking for, but this was the main thing that sold me on getting this car as opposed to something else. Basically was the affordability. Now, as a new car being 30,000 bucks, it's not that affordable, but as a used car, you can get one of these, which is relatively new, with decent miles on it for about 15 grand, and even cheaper if the mileage is even higher. That's just depending on whatever money you want to spend or whatever you're comfortable spending. But also included in that affordability is the running costs of the car. Now, the factory tires are fun, but they're not fast, but they're cheap just by the size and the diameter and stuff. The more rubber you put on the car, the more expensive it's going to be. So if you stick with the OEM size wheels, performance tires are relatively cheaper than they would be on some other cars. I mean, I'm not talking about it's going to be cheaper on a Miata as opposed to a 350Z, but it is more Miata priced than it is Z priced. That's basically what I'm saying. It's a cheaper alternative. So, and then as far as getting parts for it, upgrades and all that kind of stuff is relatively cheap compared to some of the other stuff that you could get, which would be in the similar price range. So I would rather have a car that is slower, relatively speaking, as far as acceleration, and be able to actually put it on the track and drive it hard and take it out autocrossing and not have to worry about maintaining it as much. So the amount of money I'm going to put into this car to get it ready to do what I need it to do is going to be cheaper than it would be to say a 370Z or a C5 Corvette or something along those lines. Now, there are other cars that can be cheaper, like if you get a Civic hatchback or something along those lines, they will be cheap as well. But that's another topic. I'll go into that in a little bit later. Basically, just the affordability of it. It's not going to break my wallet. So that's one of the main reasons why I got this car as opposed to something else. Okay, the second thing that I like about it is the layout. Now, I've had front-wheel drive cars and I've had all-wheel drive car, so I decided to go with something new. I mean, a lot of people just stick to one kind of thing and they just stick with that. But no, I'm into trying new setups and new platforms and stuff like that. Hence why I've had various different types of cars over the years, and I don't really just stick to one brand or one manufacturer. I just like to try stuff. So I wanted a front engine rear wheel drive car, and that pretty much just opened up the floodgates as far as what I could get. So there's Mustangs, there's RX-8s, there's Miatas, there's 350Zs, 370s, Corvettes, Camaros, all that stuff. But I didn't want something that would break my bank, and I didn't want something that was, something that appealed to me. So I found to me that this setup, the front engine rear drive market, is massive, and everybody's going to get what they want to get. But I bought this car specifically for that setup. Is there other cars you could get? Yes, you can, but this just happened to work the best for me. So I like the layout of the car, and I've taken it on track already so far, and I've taken it out autocrossing so far, and to me it's more fun to drive than the previous cars that I had. So that's why I wanted to get a rear wheel drive car, which is I'm quite happy with. The next thing I do like about it is the weight. Now, most cars nowadays, you're hard pressed to find anything under 3,200 pounds. Most cars nowadays are heavy. I mean, they have navigation systems, they have heated seats, they have multiple airbags, they have all sorts of gizmos and electronics that consumers want. Why they want them, that's another rant for another day. But this car is one of the few cars that you can buy that is under 3,000 pounds. It's 2,800 pounds. I think it's 20... I don't remember exactly. I think it's 2,850 or something like that. Exactly. Don't quote me, but it's in that ballpark. Now, to get another car that is in that same weight class, you're looking at Fiesta ST, great little car. Mazda RX-8. The engine is a little wonky, but if you have the patience to deal with it, go for it. Mazda Miata, obviously, that's going to be a featherweight. And then some of the earlier Civic models. So I think a Civic Si, a new one, is still relatively light. I don't exactly know how much it is, but that's what you're looking at as far as weight goes. Now, what I say I like the lighter cars because it changes direction pretty easily. It doesn't need a lot to make it grip. So it doesn't need a lot of tire under it to make it turn better. It doesn't need these massive brakes on it to slow it down. It doesn't need a bunch of modifications to make it tossable. So, I mean, if you look at a car like an SS1LE, I mean, if you buy tires and brakes for that thing, it's probably going to cost about as much as a turbo kit does for a BRZ. And that's just regular maintenance stuff. That's not stuff that you add on to it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, I know I could get a set of tires for this. I think I spent maybe $1,200, $1,300. And that's for a pretty big set of wheels and tires for this thing. The brakes, not overly expensive because they're not very big. There's not a lot of car to stop. And then you will not eat through those brakes very quickly. Again, because once again, there's not a lot of car to stop. I took this thing on the track with pads on it. I don't even know what kind of pads are on it. I got the brake fluid changed, just regular OEM fluid. And it ran like a champ. No brake fade, no nothing. So the weight plays a big part about it, especially when you're going into corners. I could carry speed where a heavier car would have to slow down. Well, he would out accelerate me when it came to corner exit speeds and going down the straight, but when it came down to me jumping on the brakes, I would close in on him every time. It's a momentum car, and that kind of makes it fun to me. So the weight was a big thing that I came to appreciate as far as how to drive it. The fourth thing that I really like about it is the parts catalog. This thing has so much stuff you can get, from intakes to exhaust systems to headers to wheels to brake systems to pads to coilovers, sway bars. It's insane how many parts come for this car. I mean, seats, trim pieces, short shift kits, even the handbrake lever has different accessories and stuff like that you could buy for it. And that gives you a lot of different options, which is really cool. You can make the car your own. I mean, you could have 10 different FRS BRZs GT86s, and there could be 10 different ways the cars are modded, because that is how many parts are on it. And I think that's cool. I like that. So it gives you a bit of individuality as far as what you want to do to your own car. So, and finally, the last thing I do like about it, I know I bitched about it in the previous video about things I don't like, but I am thankful for that it actually has rear seats. You can't really use them for anything like what seats are for, putting people in them, but they do fold down, and that exponentially increases the cargo room that you have in the back. I could get all 4 of my winter or summer tires set up in this car, no problem, which is awesome. When I took it to the track, held the toolbox, the tent, the fold-out chairs, the what else did I put in there? The cooler with my food in it. Everything fit in the car, no problem whatsoever. I didn't even have to drop the seats to fit all that stuff in there. So that's pretty cool. I like that about it. Now, if I had another car like a Z, for example, I wouldn't be able to do that. The Z just has no cargo room whatsoever. The RX-8 has decent cargo room, but again, engine problems. And, you know, I'm a sucker for a hatchback, so as far as a Civic hatchback or something along those lines, yeah, you're not going to out carry any of that stuff, but you're not going to get a real drive setup. So it's not as utility friendly as my Focus is with the 5-door hatchback, because it's not built to be that way, but as it is, I'm quite happy with it. It's not a primary car for a guy like me with a kid and stuff like that, but as a track toy and something that you can pop down and do grocery shopping and all, it'll do all that stuff without a problem. Just don't ask it to carry more than 2 people comfortably. That's just not gonna work. But yeah, those are my 5 things I like about my BRZ. If you have any comments, questions, or there's other things that I've missed that you like, please write it down in the comment section below. I'll answer you, and we'll get it going from there. Be on the lookout. I'm still waiting for my exhaust parts to come in. Yes, I ordered them, I don't know, it was probably August, I think, and we are in October. I still don't have them yet, so hooray. But when they do come in, I will make a video about those, and I'll do a before and after exhaust video. So, well, I just have the cat back on it now. I'll put a video in on that eventually, but just so you guys can hear, and people can hear the difference between just a cat back and the pieces that I have coming, which is a catless front pipe and an over pipe. So it'll have a different tone to it. So I purposely got the exhaust I have for the simple fact that it's not as barky. So when I go with one less cat, because I'm running a catted header, but when I go one less cat, it won't be as loud as it would be if it was just straight through. So yeah, just keep an eye out for the next video coming, and take it easy. Y'all have a good day. Bye.